Hello, welcome back to another screencast. In this screencast, we'll learn about multiplying and dividing rational numbers. This will be a two-part video because the first part, which is this one, we will be covering only multiplying rational numbers. Now, before we get started with the rational numbers, go ahead and do this as a review to see if you are comfortable with multiplying fractions. Pause and then come back to get the answers. Alright, welcome back. So for number 1, let's say this number 1 for the first one, the answer will be 2/7. All we do is cancel out the 5s and we have 2/7. Of course, that is the easiest way to solve this instead of multiplying by 2 to get 10 over 35 and then have to reduce this. Okay, now for number 2, we must put 5 over 1 times 1 over 8. Again, similar to the first one, the ones cancel out and we are left with 5/8. Okay, number 1 and number 2 are fairly easy. Right, for the last one, let's call it number 3, we have 2 and 5/8 times 6 and 2/3. Now you must remember that when we are dealing with multiplication and fraction, we must turn them into improper. So these are mixed numbers. These mixed numbers need to be changed to improper fractions. So let's go ahead and change them. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 5, 21 over 8. 6 times 3, 18. 18 plus 2, 20 over 3. Okay, now we can go ahead and simplify across. Why do I like to simplify them before I multiply? Because that saves me from dealing with big numbers at the end. Okay, let's see if they have any common factors. Their GCF. 3 and 21, of course their GCF will be 3. So 3 will be canceled and 21 will turn to 7. It's like saying we have 21 over 3. To reduce it, we divide by 3 and we end up with 7. Now let's go ahead and take a look at 20 and 8. Do they have any common factors? Yes, the greatest one will be 4. Now sometimes you may not see that it is 4 right away, or you might try 2, and then reduce it again. Similar as if we were reducing the fractions, which is what we are doing here, but we are doing it before we multiply. So in this case, 8 divided by 4 will be 2, and 20 divided by 4 will leave us with 5. Now I'm ready to multiply. 7 times 5, 35, and then 2 times 1, 2. Now this is an improper fraction. We have the opportunity for this one to change it back to a mixed number, and that will be 17 and 1/2. Okay, so if you had no problem solving any of these, then you will not have any problem with today's lesson. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to alright, so here an example, once again similar to the other examples, the last example actually, but this time we have negative numbers. Do not be afraid, it is the exact same step, except that here at the end we need to follow the rules of integers when we multiply. So, like multiplying any mixed numbers, first thing we must do is change them to improper fractions. So here, let's go ahead and change this. 3 times 3, 9 plus 1, negative 10 over 3. Over here, 2 times 10, 20 plus 7, negative 27 over 10. Okay, now similar as before, we want to go ahead and simplify across. So let me copy this down again to show you how we're going to go ahead and simplify this. Okay, let's use red. Alright, now 3 and 27, their GCF will be 3. So let's go ahead and take 3 out. So 3 here will cancel. And here we'll be left with negative 9. And negative 10 and 10 here will cancel each other out because 10 divided by 10 is 1. Okay, so now for step 3, now we can go ahead and multiply what is left. Please keep in mind the negative. I already know if I'm multiplying a negative times a negative, my answer will be positive. So I know my answer will be positive, which we do not have to write this, but I want to make sure we put it down for you guys. And 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer here is actually positive 9. Okay, now sometimes we may have to simplify once again if necessary. In this case, we don't have to do it and change back to a mixed number. Again, in this case, we do not have to do it. So as you can see, it is just like the previous examples, except here when it's time to multiply, we need to keep in mind the rules for multiplying integers, which is same sign will be positive in this case and different sign will be negative, as a reminder. Okay, now on this slide, go ahead and see if you guys can challenge yourselves and do as many as you can before you check out the answers. So go ahead and pause and try them yourselves. Alright, welcome back. So now what we're going to do, let's go ahead and solve these together. And let's see how you did. Let's go ahead and try and start with the first one. Let's go ahead and put it here on the blackboard. So we have negative 2/3 times 2/9. Now, because I'm multiplying a negative and a positive, I already know in my answer is going to be negative. So I'm going to put it there for now and completely ignore this. Okay? Can we simplify anything? No. So let's move on. We just keep multiplying. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 9, 27. And here's the answer, but gotta keep in mind this little negative. Now I bring it up because I was multiplying a negative and a positive. Okay, that's number 1. Alright, now let's move on to 2. Right, so I'm trying to find a way where to put my board here. Okay, so here for 2 we have negative 1/4. I believe it's a negative, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, indeed. So here we have negative 1/4 times negative 4/3. Again, a negative times a negative, I will be getting a positive. Let's put in here to remind us our answer will be positive. So ignoring the negative signs. So now ignoring the negative signs, let's go ahead and simplify. 4 and 4 cancel each other out and we are left with 1/3. 1/3, and negative times a negative we get a positive. So this right here is staying positive 1/3. Okay, the first two are super easy. Alright, now let's move on to a little bit more complicated one. Number 3 here. We have negative 8 times 2 3/4. First thing we need to do is to again change this a negative times a positive. Let's put a reminder that our answer will be negative. Ignore this negative sign. Put the 8/1. Change the mixed number to improper. This will be 2 times 4. 8 plus 3, 11. 11/4. 4 and 8, their GCF will be 4. So 4 cancel and 8 turn into a 2. And 2 times 11 is 22. But what our answer is supposed to be? Negative. So this answer will be negative 22. Okay. Alright, now let's move on to the next one. I know the next one is exponents. Okay, right here, this one we're doing now. I know because of the square, it might look a little scary, but it's not. We know exponents means I'm multiplying this by itself 2 times. So here, let's write it down. So I'm multiplying negative 1 1/2 by itself 2 times. Now, because I'm multiplying a negative times a negative, my answer will be positive. Now, ignore the negatives. Alright? So, let's go ahead and change this. This will be 3/2 times 3/2. Okay, which we'll get 9/4. And that 9/4 will be changed to 2 1/4. Okay, and our answer is supposed to be positive. This is positive, so we leave it alone. Okay, very easy, right? Alright, now let's go ahead and do the last one. I know the last one might look scary, but if some of you figured out how to do it very quickly, I will be very, very happy. Okay, here's the last one here. So here we have -1/2 times 2/3 times 3/5. Now, before we do anything, let's see what our answer will be. What sign? A negative times a positive will get a negative, times a positive will get a negative. So my answer will be negative. So let's go ahead and ignore this. Let's go ahead and simplify. Okay, so 2 and 2 will be able to cancel each other out, and 3 and 3 will also cancel each other out, and we're left with -1/5. And of course, our answer is supposed to be negative, so I want to make sure we put the negative right in the front. See, very easy, right? Looks scary, but in reality, it's very friendly. Okay? Alright, well, that was it for today. Hopefully you guys learned a lot and you guys are not so afraid of the rational numbers once they have a negative in the front, once they are squared. Once again, we just follow the exact same rules that we learned before. Well, that was it for today. Remember to post your questions on Edmodo and post it so that the whole class will be able to help you. Do not send it directly to me. Okay? So I'll see you guys in class. Have a good one. Bye-bye.